name is Tracy and I'm a nightlife photographer. I primarily have done parties in the past, but I also do rock concerts, punk concerts, indie concerts, electronica concerts, just about everything. My career started back in college actually when I worked for Kaleo of UH Manoa's student-run newspaper. I was the associate features editor there. I became a door girl for a couple DJ nights and eventually ended up as a DJ myself. Career-wise, I was actually asked to shoot for my job at the Honolulu Advertiser, and I was sent out to parties regularly, sometimes 4 or 5 days a week just to shoot. Kind of be in the center of all the action, capture what was going on, capture people having fun, and I also covered a lot of concerts, features, that kind of stuff. I've gotten blood on my camera, I've gotten dirt on my camera, I've gotten kicked in the face. Probably the roughest show I ever shot, surprisingly, was Sublime with Rome. The mosh pit was just so incredibly insane, and there was no photo pit, and I was right in the middle of it, and a fight broke out right next to me. People were throwing punches, people were like screaming and going down everywhere. I wore glasses at the time and I had got my glasses knocked off, and so I was trying to find those, and then somebody ran into me and yeah, I got punched in the face, and then one of the bouncers dragged me out. So that was fun. Usually concerts are not that rough. I got sent to Janet Jackson, which was interesting because she had a 30-second time limit. We ran in, our handler set a stopwatch, we shot for 30 seconds and then we were escorted out. I've shot local bands who don't care if we get up on stage with them, and they're just super cool about the whole thing. They'll like come up to us and start hamming it up. Shooting The Cure. It was a great show, and I got a pretty excellent photo of Robert Smith from like right below Robert Smith, and I think that's probably the closest I've ever gotten to him. But as a photographer, that's one of the things you get to do, is get up close and personal with some of your heroes sometimes. Typically people will respect the photographer and give them at least a little bit of distance. One of the things about being a concert photographer too is just situational awareness. Like, I want to say we have to have better situational awareness than most of the people in the room because we have to avoid all of them. Steady hands really helps. Like, you can be jostled or people can be moshing all around you and you still have to have rock steady hands. Notice my shirt, the primer. This is a high ISO, low ISO. If you're bringing in that much light, you're going to get camera shake, so your hands have to be super steady, or you have to have something to brace off of. Don't move around a lot in a low light setting unless you want some really artistic stuff and you're trying for that. The main tip, I would say, is just get a camera and go. You can learn on the street, you can learn in the concert venue, you can talk to people who are out there shooting photos, but really just get a camera and go out there and start experimenting with it. The brand that I go to is Canon. I'm just a Canon girl. Right now I'm shooting with a 7D. This one's about halfway through its lifespan as far as shutter count goes. The lens is a 24 to 70. This thing has been with me for about, 8 years now. Still going strong. Like I say, it's got a lot of stuff on it. Blood, paint, sweat, tears, all of that. But what I most require from my cameras is that they are able to hold up under stress and take some banging around. I'm careful with my equipment. Every photographer who cares about their equipment is careful, but I'm not going to be gentle on it necessarily. This is the other lens I use most frequently for concerts and close-up work. It's a Canon EF 10 to 20 millimeter lens, which means it's actually ultra wide, but without that strange distortion that you get from fisheyes. Think of it as kind of half of a fisheye. It helps you get like up in somebody's face and still get the entire stage, or still get the entire scene that you're trying to cover. I use black rapid straps. I've been using these for about 10 years, and it goes over your head. This one is actually specifically made for females, and so it kind of sits, and then the camera is at your head. General rule at concerts is don't use flash. It annoys the talent, and just think of it as having a strobe light popping off in your face a lot. You don't really want to do it. If you do have the option of using a flash, if flash isn't completely forbidden, I use a Canon 580 EX2 with a little softbox I got off Amazon for 14 bucks. You have a lot of options as far as lighting. You can turn your flash up and actually point it at a wall that's not behind your talent, or you can bounce it off the ceiling. If the ceiling's not too high and too dark, you have that option. And you can get a little bit of extra light that way that'll help. There's so many resources online. There's websites specifically for beginner concert photographers. There's YouTube videos. There's your friendly local neighborhood concert photographer. I would say just hook up with people with similar interests. There's various groups around the island that you can join. There's just all kinds of resources out there, but above all, don't be shy. Get out there, grab your camera, just go to the show and start shooting.
My name is Raul Soria Jr. I'm a music photographer, visual creative, graphic designer based out of Honolulu, Hawaii. I would describe what I go for as epic. Capturing that one moment that just kind of basically encapsulates the entire scene, the entire night, and I want people to feel like they're there. And just like to feel what I feel, that power that resonates through your spine and rattles up to your brain, you know, that's what I want in my images. I was in a car wreck a number of years ago up at Tantalus. You know, like it was a hit and run. And I ended up bruising my spleen and actually ended up bruising a few ribs. So I couldn't thrash around at shows like I really wanted to. So, you know, when my friends would play and, you know, bands would still go on, you know, I can't not be in the pit, you know, like so. But yeah, that's when my sister actually gave me her camera. And I started going out there, and since I couldn't like run around, and it took me about a couple months to actually learn how to breathe again. So I started picking up the camera to shoot. My heart's always been in the heavier side with the heavy metal, the extreme. Like I need the pit, I need to be in there. And I'm kind of known as that guy who goes into the pit with his camera. So that's something you don't see very often. Like, I mean, I love my equipment, but I need to be in the pit. And I'm still gonna get my picture, but I need both. Like I'll actually be in the pit, and I'll hold this sucker like a football, and I'm gonna do my thing. Like I'm a professional, but you know, but I'm gonna go and get in there and have fun, and then you know, but I'll see my shot, and then I'll just freeze, have no shame, because I remember the moment. I remember it was a little more formal show, you know, like you know, it's a little bit more, you know, everybody stands back and everybody's kind of polite, and of course, I'm considerate of the audience behind me, but it was a small show. And I remember standing in the back, and I was just going to click, click, click when I was first starting. And a buddy of mine, he told me, he's like, dude, why are you shooting back here? And I'm like, can I go over there? He's like, nobody cares. And I'm like, but these people back here, they're going to get in there, like, they don't care. They just go and get your shot. Just stop thinking so much. It's the same thing as it being in the pit. Like you just have no shame. You just like, you look around, you see all these people looking at the band, and you think that they're looking at you, but they don't care that they're actually in awe that you have the guts to walk over there and get your shot. That makes you a professional. They're like, okay, that guy knows what he's doing because he does not care, but he's getting his shot. So that's kind of how that's my biggest thing in terms of getting in there. You know, just don't second guess yourself. You know, because if you see the shot in your head and you need to get on top of a table, get under a table, you know, you got to be different. Because, you know, the other photographers over there, why are you going to zig with everybody else? Go zag. So this is my Canon Speedlight 430 EX2. This is the MagMod system, which is basically a tiny soft box that you can put in your pocket, which, you know, softens light, beautiful, you know, way of spraying light. So it's actually it's a magnet system, so I can literally just pop that sucker on there and done. And when I'm done with it, I can just go like this, throw it in my pocket, and instant. Yeah, so I mean, game changer, total game changer. I got one of these, so it's actually a hand strap here, so it's better on the wrist. Like it locks, best one I've ever used. So then and from here, you can also have the choice of putting this guy on, so the strap actually connects directly onto these guys. And this is like the older 2470. It's nothing, you don't need the new ones. Like it's not necessary. This is like an older speed light. Again, you don't need the one that does everything by itself. It's automatic and crap, like you don't need it. And yeah, so just basically like you're just upgrading as you need it. You know, that's the basis of having the tools. When it comes down to lenses, this is all you really need when it comes down to, because with stuff I shoot now, it's a little, I have to be around a lot, so I have my 24-70 and the 70-200, but when all else fails, all you need is your trusty 50mm. That's all you need. I built my entire career for the first, I shot with nothing with this for about 5 years. And this is actually how I started. It was with this guy, just my Rebel XT and my 50mm. And I built my entire portfolio. I shot national and international bands. I got into huge venues. And I'm still more proud of the images I shot out of this guy than anything I've shot in a long time. So when it comes down to it, when all gear fails, like your lenses stop working, it's like, I always end up with this guy, so I always have it in my pocket. Well, I'm going to leave you with this, just go out there and support your local scene. It's not just about getting the big names if you're shooting music photography. Someday we all want to shoot Kiss, but remember that's there's a lot more things behind the scenes when you get to that level that you got to deal with. And so actually have fun while you're still shooting the smaller shows, because you're able to explore, you're able to expand, and you never know, your friends might be the next Metallica. So you just go out there and grab your camera, and it's like these pictures, they're history. And and you can be a part of that history. Just don't give up and don't compare yourself with too many people. Just go out there and you have fun and you shoot. Right?